My dear child, hush now, let your heart find stillness for a moment. Quiet the racing thoughts in your mind, beloved of the Most High. There's a message waiting for you, one that's been held in the hands of heaven, waiting for the perfect time to reach you. This message isn't dressed in sparkling lights or carried by loud songs. It doesn't come with the cheers of the crowd or the fanfare of the world. It's simple, pure, and sealed with the mark of heaven itself. You don't open it with your hands, but with your faith, with your trust in the one who formed you. The time to open it is now, because the hours are moving quickly, and this moment is sacred. This message doesn't come from me. I'm only a messenger, carrying words from the courts of light, a place where no lie can stand, where truth rises like a mountain that cannot be shaken. The scroll I bring has your name written on it, etched by the hand of God. The words inside are not suggestions or gentle ideas, they are divine instructions, meant to guide you, to protect you, to lead you into what's next. You must understand this, beloved, this is no ordinary moment. This is a turning point, a sacred shift, a time when heaven itself is moving on your behalf. You've been watched, my dear, not just by the loving eyes of God or the angels who guard your steps. You've been watched by others too, a people who smiled at you while hiding their true hearts. They walked beside you, pretending to be friends, but behind your back, they dug pits to trap you. They spoke kind words to your face, but in secret, they sharpened their knives. They sat at your table, drank from your cup, and all the while, they whispered curses into the very water they shared with you. You opened your heart to them. You trusted them, believing in their goodness. You gave them your kindness, thinking they saw you as you saw them. But they mistook your open heart for weakness. They thought your generosity meant you couldn't see their schemes. They were wrong, beloved. So very wrong. They thought heaven had forgotten you. They believed God was too far away to notice their actions. They assumed your tears meant you were abandoned, that your struggles meant you were alone. But heaven never sleeps. Heaven sees everything. And today, heaven is moving. The scales of justice are tipping, not because you demanded it, but because truth demands it. Your enemies are those who smiled while plotting, who blessed you with their lips while cursing you in their hearts, who are under judgment. This judgment isn't because you begged for revenge. You didn't. Your heart stayed pure, even when it was bruised. You didn't ask for their punishment, you asked for peace. You prayed for rest, for clarity, for a way forward. And now, God is answering. This isn't a judgment born of anger or spite. It's a holy correction, a divine balancing of what's been uneven for too long. It's God stepping in to restore what was stolen, to clear the path that was blocked, to lift the weight that was placed on your shoulders by those who never deserved your trust. But listen carefully, my dear. This moment requires something from you. You must respond. You must open this message with your heart, with your faith, with your obedience to what God is doing. If you don't, there's a risk that you'll be tempted to look back, to feel sorry for those who hurt you, to try to save what heaven has already marked for correction. You might want to hold on to people who were never meant to walk with you into your promise. You might slow down your journey, thinking you owe them something, thinking your kindness can change their hearts. But some hearts have chosen their path, and you cannot carry them any longer. Do not reopen doors that God has closed. Your mercy is beautiful, a reflection of the heart of God. But there are times when mercy must step aside to make room for wisdom. The people under judgment now aren't just those who made a mistake once or twice. They're the ones who chose betrayal over and over. They studied your steps, not to support you, but to find ways to stop you. They threw stones at your dreams and then hid their hands, pretending they were innocent. They laughed when you cried, calling your pain weakness. They tried to delay your destiny, not because of who you are today, but because of what they knew you were becoming. They saw something in you, beloved. They saw the fire of God in your spirit, the favor of heaven resting on your life. They knew your name was meant to echo in places they could never go. And instead of celebrating you, they envied you. Instead of blessing you, they blocked you. They thought they could dim your light, slow your steps, or steal your future. But they forgot one thing: you are not alone. You never were. Even in your darkest moments, when you felt abandoned, I was there. When no one clapped for your victories, heaven was writing them down. When your enemies tried to smear your name, the truth was recorded in the courts of light. Every tear you cried, every kind word you spoke, every moment you chose love over hate, it was all seen, all remembered. And now, the trumpet of heaven has sounded. The angels of justice are moving. The tables are turning, not slowly, but swiftly. Those who plotted against you are being caught in their own traps, not because you fought them, but because God is setting things right. But I need you to hear this clearly: you must open this moment with obedience. Don't let old memories make you cling to people who celebrated your pain. Don't let fear of being alone pull you back into relationships that were cages. The people under judgment had countless chances to change. They were warned in quiet moments, visited in dreams, shown glimpses of truth. But they laughed. They mocked. They said, "Nothing will happen. Look, she's still struggling. Look, he's still stuck." They didn't know that God was working behind the scenes, preparing your comeback, setting the stage for your rising. You felt forgotten, didn't you? You wondered if God had turned away. But you weren't forgotten, you were hidden. God was protecting you, shielding you from harm, keeping you safe until the time was right. Your delays weren't denials. They were divine pauses, moments when God was clearing the way, removing what couldn't go with you into your next season. And now, that season is here. Your rising is unstoppable because it's God's timing, not the timing of man. Still, I urge you, open this message with your whole heart. Let it guide how you walk, how you think, how you choose. Don't try to defend yourself against those who are now facing heaven's review. You don't need to explain yourself to them. You don't need to chase their approval or plead for their understanding. Let God be your defense. Let him be your shield. This judgment isn't about anger, it's about alignment. God is clearing your path, pulling up weeds, removing false friends, exposing hidden jealousy, not to shame them, but to free you. You're being freed from obligation, from the weight of carrying people who never carried you. You're being freed from confusion, from wondering why things never worked out. You're being freed from invisible chains of guilt that made you keep giving to those who only took. This isn't about being unkind. It's about being liberated. It's about stepping into the freedom God has prepared for you. Take a deep breath now, beloved. Inhale. Exhale. Do you feel it? Something is shifting. Heaven has placed a banner over you, and it says, "No longer delayed." You're stepping into a season of restoration, but for that to happen, some doors must close. Some relationships must end, even if they feel familiar, even if they tug at your heart with memories. Let them go. Trust God to handle what comes next. If you resist this moment, if you try to save what heaven is correcting, you risk getting tangled in their judgment. Not because God is angry with you, but because staying in a place you were meant to leave carries a weight you weren't designed to bear. That's why I'm here to pull you out, to lift your face, to show you the map hidden in the tears you've cried. You don't need to fight. You don't need to argue or prove yourself. You're being called to rest, to trust, to let God do what only He can. Let's look back for a moment, and not to stay there, but to understand. Remember the delays that frustrated you? The confusion that clouded your mind? The losses that came out of nowhere? They weren't random. Some were caused by spiritual interference, by people close to you who carried envy in their hearts. Some doors stayed closed because someone was secretly speaking against your progress. Some blessings paused because a heart near you was dripping with silent resentment. You wouldn't have known. You would have kept loving them, kept including them, kept giving them a place in your life. And that could have sunk your ship. But heaven stepped in. God said, "Enough. Enough of pretending. Enough betrayal. Enough delay." The judgment that's happening now isn't about cruelty, it's about love. It's a divine interruption, a holy intervention to protect you, to preserve the calling on your life. It's God clearing the way for your next chapter. Now, beloved, it's time to come forth. This is your rising, your moment of release. But you must choose it. You must walk away from what God has judged. Stop watering gardens that only grow thorns. Let go of relationships that looked safe but were filled with poison. You'll feel it deep in your bones as this pull toward freedom. Don't fight it. Don't apologize for it. Don't explain it to those who never saw your pain. Your silence is your strength. Your peace is your answer. When God moves in judgment, no weapon can stop Him. No lie can outtalk Him. No scheme can outrun His timing. You're being handed a new robe, a new authority, a new clarity. But if you keep looking back, if you hold on to the ruins of what was, you'll miss the doors opening in front of you. So open your heart fully. Let the tears come if they need to. Say goodbye to the betrayal that felt familiar. Say farewell to the false support that left you empty. And rise ye not in bitterness, not in vengeance, but in the dignity of who God created you to be. Your enemies are under judgment, not by your hands, but by the God who saw every heartbreak you endured. Let Him handle it. You just walk forward. Breathe again. Receive what's next. What's coming is too pure to carry old weights. It's too golden to share with those who only wanted silver. It's too heaven-sent to include those who played with fire. Let them go. Let God deal. Open this new chapter with no regrets, no fear. You are under divine covering, and the judgment of your enemies is the beginning of your freedom. Amen. The words above carry a weight, a sacred urgency, and now I'll expand them, keeping the language simple and the message clear, as you've asked. The truth of this message is like a river. It flows deep and wide, and it's meant to wash over you, to cleanse you, to guide you into the next season of your life. Let's walk through it again, slowly, carefully, letting each truth settle into your heart like a seed planted in good soil. Beloved, you are standing at a crossroads. The world around you is moving faster than it ever has. Time is not waiting, and neither is God. The message I bring is not one you can set aside for later, not one you can tuck away and forget. It's alive, breathing, pulsing with the heartbeat of heaven. It's a call to action, but not the kind of action that requires you to fight or strive. This action is simpler, yet harder. It's the action of opening your heart, of trusting God's voice, of letting go of what's been holding you back. It's about faith, about surrender, about choosing to believe that God is moving even when you can't see it. This message comes from a place of purity, a place where no lie can survive. Imagine a courtroom, not like the ones on earth with their noise and confusion, but a holy place where truth stands tall and unshakable. That's where this message was born. It's written on a scroll, and your name is on it, not someone else's, not a vague idea of a person, but you. God knows you by name. He sees every detail of your life, every moment you've lived, every tear you've cried. The words on this scroll are not casual. They're not optional. They're instructions, directions for your next steps, given by the one who sees the end from the beginning. You've been watched, my dear. Not just by God, who looks at you with love that never wavers, or by angels, who stand guard over you day and night. You've been watched by people who didn't have your best interests at heart. These were people you trusted, people you let into your life. You shared your dreams with them, your hopes, your heart. You gave them a seat at your table, a place in your world. But while you were opening your heart, they were hiding theirs. They smiled at you, but behind closed doors, they planned ways to hurt you. They took your kindness and used it against you, thinking you wouldn't notice, thinking you were too soft, too trusting, too blind to see their true intentions. They were wrong. They thought your kindness meant you were weak. They thought your open heart meant you couldn't see. They thought God wasn't paying attention, that heaven was too far away to care. But they forgot who you belong to. They forgot that God sees everything, that no secret is hidden from him. They thought they could outsmart the one who formed the stars. They thought they could dim the light he placed in you. But heaven never sleeps. Heaven never forgets. And now, heaven is moving. The people who hurt you, who betrayed you, who spoke against you in secret are there under judgment. This isn't because you asked for it. You didn't. You didn't pray for their downfall or curse their names. You prayed for peace. You prayed for healing. You prayed for a way forward, even when the road felt blocked. And God heard you. He saw your heart, how you kept choosing love even when it hurt, how you kept giving even when you were empty. That's why this judgment is happening, and not out of anger, but out of justice. It's God setting things right, balancing what's been uneven, restoring what's been stolen. This judgment isn't about revenge. It's not about God being angry and lashing out. It's about order, about truth, about making a way for you to walk into your purpose. The people who hurt you carried a weight, a darkness that tried to pull you down with them. Their lies, their envy, their betrayal, it was all piling up, making it harder for you to move forward. But God is stepping in now, clearing away that weight, removing what doesn't belong in your story. This is a holy correction, a divine act of love to protect you and set you free. But here's the part you need to hear, beloved, this moment asks something of you. You have a role to play. You must open this message, not with your hands, but with your heart. You must choose to receive it, to let it guide you, to let it shape your next steps. If you don't, there's a danger that you'll look back, that you'll feel sorry for those who hurt you, that you'll try to hold on to relationships God is telling you to release. You might think you can save them, that your kindness can change their hearts. But some people have made their choices, and those choices have consequences. You can't carry their weight anymore. You weren't meant to. Your mercy is a gift, a beautiful reflection of God's heart. But there are times when mercy must step aside for wisdom. The people under judgment now aren't just those who made a mistake and felt sorry for it. They're the ones who chose betrayal over and over again. They watched you closely, not to cheer you on, but to find ways to trip you up. They saw your kindness and called it weakness. They saw your struggles and laughed, thinking you'd never rise. They saw the fire in you, the favor of God on your life, and instead of celebrating, they envied. They tried to block your path, not because of who you are now, but because of what they knew you could become. They saw something in you, beloved. They saw the light of God in your eyes, the calling on your life. They knew you were meant for something greater, something they couldn't touch. And instead of clapping for you, they cursed you. Instead of lifting you up, they tried to pull you down. They thought they could stop what God had started. They thought they could delay what heaven had promised. But they forgot one thing: you are not alone. You never were. In your darkest moments, when you felt like no one saw you, I was there. When you cried alone, when you wondered if God had forgotten you, I was right beside you. every act of kindness you gave, every moment you chose love over hate, every time you kept going despite the pain. Oh, it was all seen, all recorded in heaven's book. Your enemies thought they could rewrite your story, but they didn't know that God was writing it all along. And now, the time has come. The trumpet has sounded. The angels of justice are moving, and the tables are turning. Those who plotted against you are being caught in their own traps. The lies they told are unraveling. The schemes they built are crumbling. This isn't your doing, it's God's. He's clearing the way, removing what's been holding you back, making room for what's next. But you must respond. You must open this moment with faith, with trust, with a willingness to let go. Don't cling to people who celebrated your pain. Don't hold on to relationships that were built on betrayal. Don't let fear of being alone keep you tied to what God is cutting away. The people under judgment had more chances than you know. They were warned in quiet moments, in dreams, in whispers from heaven. They were given opportunities to turn, to change, to choose truth over lies. But they laughed. They mocked. They thought nothing would happen, that you'd stay stuck, that your tears meant you were defeated. They didn't see what God was doing behind the scenes. They didn't know He was preparing your comeback, setting the stage for your rising. You felt forgotten, but you were never forgotten. You were hidden, protected, kept safe until the time was right. And now, that time is here. Your rising is happening, and it's unstoppable because it's God's timing, not man's. But you must choose to walk in it. You must open your heart to this message, let it guide your steps, let it shape your choices. Don't try to defend yourself against those who are facing God's judgment. You don't need to explain yourself to them. You don't need to prove your worth or beg for their understanding. Let God be your defense. Let Him be your shield. This judgment isn't about anger, it's about alignment. God is lining things up, clearing your path, making a way for you to step into your purpose. You're being freed, beloved. Freed from the weight of carrying people who never carried you. Freed from the confusion of wondering why things kept going wrong. Freed from the guilt that made you keep giving to those who only took. This isn't about being unkind, it's about being liberated. It's about stepping into the freedom God has for you, a freedom that comes when you let go of what's been holding you back. Take a deep breath now. Feel the air fill your lungs. Let it out slowly. Do you sense it? Something is shifting. Heaven is moving, placing a banner over you that says, "No longer delayed." You're stepping into a season of restoration, a time when what was stolen is returned, what was broken is made whole. But for this to happen, some things must end. Some doors must close, even if they feel familiar, even if they carry memories that tug at your heart. Let them go. Trust God to handle what comes next. If you resist this moment, if you try to hold on to what God is judging, you risk getting caught in the weight of their consequences. Not because God is angry with you, but because staying in a place you were meant to leave will slow you down. It will tangle you in chains you were never meant to wear. That's why I'm here to lift your eyes, to show you the path forward, to remind you that you don't need to fight. You need to trust. You need to rest. You need to let God do what only He can. Look back for a moment, and not to stay there, but to understand. Remember the delays that frustrated you? The plans that fell apart? The losses that came out of nowhere? They weren't random. Some were caused by people who carried darkness in their hearts, people who spoke against you in secret, who envied your light. Some doors stayed closed because someone close to you was working against you, even if you didn't see it. Some blessings paused because of silent resentment, hidden jealousy. You wouldn't have known. You would have kept loving them, kept trusting them, kept giving them a place in your life. And that could have stopped you from moving forward. But God saw it all. He stepped in, saying, "Enough. Enough lies. Enough betrayal. Enough delay." This judgment is a divine interruption, a holy act of love to protect you, to preserve the calling on your life. It's God clearing the way for what's next, pulling up the weeds, removing what doesn't belong. Now, beloved, it's time to step forward. This is your rising, your moment to walk into freedom. But you must choose it. You must let go of what God has judged. Stop trying to fix what was never yours to carry. Stop watering what only grows thorns. You'll feel it, this pull toward something new, something free. Don't fight it. Don't apologize for it. Don't explain it to those who never understood your pain. Your silence is your strength. Your peace is your answer. When God moves, no lie can stop Him. No scheme can outrun Him. You're being given a new robe, a new authority, a new clarity. Don't look back at the ruins. Don't cling to what's familiar but toxic. Open your heart to what's next. Let the tears come if they need to. Say goodbye to the betrayal, to the false support. And rise not in anger, but in the dignity of who God made you to be. Your enemies are under judgment, not by your hands, but by the God who saw every tear, every heartbreak, every moment you chose love. Let Him handle it. You just walk forward. Breathe. Receive what's coming. It's too pure for old weights, too golden for those who only wanted less. You're under divine covering, and this judgment is the beginning of your freedom. Amen.